I suppose when you think of evergreen, the first thing that many people think of are the traditional fir, pine, spruce tree, the sort of thing that you see here, whether it's in the mist or in the summer, or perhaps more often as you see it in the snow. When we come to this particular tutorial, we'll bring in the white gouache as an alternative to masking fluid to reserve some of these whites in the trees. Right, but the pine tree or the fir tree is by no means the only type of evergreen tree. There are many evergreen trees that thrive and flourish in very hot climates. Let's have a look at a couple of them. Now, the Cedar of Lebanon is native to the central Mediterranean area, and in fact Lebanon has the cedar tree on its flag. Now here is the mangrove tree, and this is one that you really associate with hot climates, because mangroves, to most people, you think of swampy areas. Now you can see we're going to use the 1/2 inch and the 1 inch flat brush. Here's a number 1 round brush, which is a smaller version again of the number 6 round brush. But perhaps most surprisingly is that I'm going to use this brush to do some of the foliage in the Cedar of Lebanon tree. Right, now I'm just using 3 colours for this Cedar of Lebanon, and I'll probably use these for the fir trees as well. What I've got is phthalo blue mixed with raw sienna to give us this greeny grey mid-tone. I've also mixed a lighter version for just some highlights here and there, and I've also mixed a much darker version of the same 2 colours plus a little bit of burnt umber. Now you can see the characteristic of the Cedar of Lebanon is that it has a very wide, strong base, and that's to support some very heavy branches, which not all, but certainly a lot of them, fan out from just above the base of the trunk, almost like a candelabra. In fact, if you can imagine my 2 wrists as the base of the trunk and my fingers as these main branches fanning out, it's that sort of shape, isn't it? We'll start at the top, and you can see that I'm just dabbing on, and you can see how easy it is to get that sort of effect. What I'm getting is that sort of roughened, slightly roughened edge there. You can see that. I'm going to work quite quickly because I want to get some wet on this if I can. Now you can see that I'm adding in at the bottom of these leaves some of that darker colour I talked about earlier, and that starts to give a little bit of shape and shading and shadow. Here and there I'm just going to leave little areas unpainted like that, just to define the direction the tree actually goes and the branches coming out. I'm also going to splay the brush. This is the number 6 brush incidentally, and I'm just going to gently drag it, almost a semi-dry brush effect down here, to give a little bit of bark texture on some of those bigger branches near the base like that. Now I don't know what it is, but I do hate to see trees sort of with the trunk sitting in mid-air, even as demos like this. So I'm just, in my usual style, just going to plant it properly into the ground. Strong shadow there. That's almost neat ultramarine blue and burnt umber. Not forgetting a little bit there to pick up the cast shadow from these parts of the leaves, but not as far as here with the sun coming from left to right. So there we are. It's a beautiful tree, the Cedar of Lebanon, and well worth a portrait all by itself.